There are three things I want you to know. You are here to know who you are. You are a divinely powerful spiritual being, here to give your heart to the world in the highest, unique, divine expression. You are pure potential. The second thing I want you to know is you're here to dream the greatest dream for your life. You need a vision to live into. Universal law only responds with a yes, but if you don't give it an intention, you'll find yourself lost. There is one contingency for your dream. It must serve the highest good. You must create harmony and serve the world. And number three, you're going to have to release all attachment of the earthly world, and you're going to have to no longer hand your power over to anything or anyone of this world. This will be your greatest test, but I'm here to hold your hand as we walk through the walls of fire for you to truly become the woman or man that you've always desired to be somebody who is untouchable, unshakable, and truly the divine of who you are. Welcome to the Dr. Erin podcast. This is a life-changing show where you will learn the secrets of the universe and learn how to coach yourself or your clients through anything. My commitment is to inspire, educate, and transform life as you know it. Hi, I'm Dr. Erin, Dr. Divinity, Master Coach, International Bestselling Author, winner of the Walden Wisdom Award next to Oprah, and Forbes nominated me as 11 of the most inspirational female entrepreneurs to watch on Instagram. I coach people around the globe and train and develop master coaches, practitioners, and leaders around the world in E4 trauma method, subconscious reprogramming, universal law, spiritual psychology, metaphysics of mind, past life regressions, and spiritual awakening processes. Disclosure, I'm not a therapist or psychologist. If you are dealing with depression, PTSD, or any mental illness, please seek medical or professional help. I am a doctor of divinity. My goal in this podcast is for you to remember who you are. You are an all-powerful spiritual being. I am going to inspire you and help you to understand what it's going to take to become the most powerful coach. It doesn't matter if you're coaching as a career or simply desiring to be your own best coach. My goal is for you to be able to coach yourself or your clients through anything in the four primary areas of life: love and relationships, money and career, health and vitality, and creative expression. If you're ready to break through your problems and claim a life of prosperity, vitality, and love, this podcast is for you. Our mission is awakening 1 billion people together, and how I know we will fulfill upon our mission is by developing world-class spiritual leaders just like you. So if you have any questions, I'd love it if you give a review on the podcast, and you can ask your question at the end of the review. This would really help us bring these profound truths to the world. And each week I'll read your questions and incorporate them into the podcast. Oh yeah, don't forget to share this podcast with your bestie so you can rise together. We come together to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, and align with universal law each week. And we also have a universal law we embody as a community each week. I'd love to invite you into our community. Links are in the notes. And remember that you can binge my podcast series. There's everything from Money Breakthrough series, Transform Your Trauma series, Relationship Breakthrough series, and Coach series. The podcast comes out every Sunday, so make sure to subscribe. So grab a cup of tea and enjoy the podcast. May you live your truth. If you're ready to understand the mindset of soul-based billionaire women like Oprah, you want to listen to this podcast. If you're ready to master your mind and turn on your billion-dollar mindset, then you want to listen to this podcast. Welcome, my soul family, all of my soul sisters and brothers out there. Let's dive deep into what the mindset of a billionaire is. Not from the standpoint of getting a bunch of things, but from the standpoint of what it means to master our minds and be able to create exponentially. So yesterday I was on this beautiful bike ride. I love evenings on Palm Beach. It's very tropical here and has a lot of humidity, but the evenings are absolutely gorgeous. So I go along the backside of the island. And sometimes if the sun is still up too high, then I go along the side where the beach is. And I was riding along and I was listening to this inspirational music. And sometimes when I'm riding my bike, I like to listen to mantras. Sometimes I like to listen to, dance music. Sometimes I like to turn on a podcast or YouTube. And I started reflecting back into a time when I was young, and I was in my 20s and I had my son and I had no money whatsoever. And it wasn't just that I had lack financially, but I lacked the mindset. I always focused on what was wrong. I felt like I was alone. Every day was a lot of suffering inside. And I'll never forget that every day at 4 p.m., Oprah came on. And I loved that hour of my day so much because for an hour, I got to leave my world and I got to go into a world of inspiration. I got to hear all kinds of stories. And one of the stories that I'll never forget, Oprah was asked what was one of her favorite guests years later after her show had ended. And one of her favorite guests was a woman, I believe her name was Terra in Zambia. And she said that she came on her show, that she was born in a, very impoverished family with, I think she had a brother, and her brother was able to go to school and she wasn't. But she wanted to go to school so bad that she actually did her brother's homework for her. And her brother ended up going to school, didn't know any of the work, and basically was able to show up and get A's on his papers. And slowly over time, his teacher began to realize, because she'd ask him questions in class, or I don't know what the teacher was, and he wouldn't be able to answer it. And she was like, how are you able to have A pluses on your paper, but you don't have any of the answers? So she began to realize, oh, something isn't adding up here. So the teacher ended up going to their house and basically talking with the family and invited their daughter to come to school. And the father said, no, she can't go to school because it just wasn't in their culture. The women weren't to be educated, only the men. So this young little girl, Terra, grew up poor and uneducated, basically. And she ended up being married off at the age of 11 and married a man and was always kind of like studying behind the scenes, like in her secret life. And one day she met an American, and the American asked, what are your dreams? What do you want? And she had no idea. She'd never been asked that question before. She didn't even know things were possible, right? And this gentleman, I believe, was an author that came on Oprah's show also. And the point was that he helped her, basically wanted to help her fulfill on her dreams. And so Tara's dream was to get educated. In fact, her dream was to come to America and get a college degree. So Terra actually found out about manifestation through this author. And she wrote her dreams on a piece of paper, the dream of coming to America. I'm getting chills right now. And the dream was for her to get educated and fulfill upon that dream. That was her heart's deepest desire. So she wrote this dream on this piece of paper and she put it into a tin can and buried it under a rock out like in a field. And lo and behold, Terra actually had 3 children, I believe at the time, with her husband who beat her when this author met her. And over the years, she came to America. She got her college degree. And she ended up actually going back to that same field and writing a new dream on a new piece of paper. And the dream was to move to America and become a doctor, basically getting her doctorate, right? So lo and behold, Terra actually fulfilled upon that dream. And so Oprah actually, when she was re-interviewing this woman years later, she actually went to that field and they went and saw the tin can under the rock. And so the moral of the story was the heart's desire. And so Oprah said, in what it really took for her to become a billionaire woman was, number one, the advice that she gives is master your craft. And I am such a believer of this in Soulciety. We teach embodiment. We truly teach embodiment. We teach when we're trained developing spiritual psychology master coaches, and we're teaching and facilitating people in E4 trauma method and accrediting people and developing world-class practitioners and teachers and things like that. This is what we always teach, is master your craft. Stop looking to the world to be the influencer or keep up with the Jones or do whatever. That when you master your craft, no financial crisis can even take that away. That you will always be able to create something and you will always be demanded upon because you've mastered your craft. Some of the other mindset of billionaires across the world, of women, because I've been, I consume a lot of, I don't really consume that much content, but when I'm going to consume, I always listen to interviews of women who have really had major success, because it's not just about success materially, but it's the mindset that it took for them to have that success that I'm always seeking into. And we recognize for sure that having a vision, Spanx, one of the founders of that, the founder of that, she had the vision when she was, making no money whatsoever, or any of the women I've been listening to, they may have been in corporate jobs, or they may have had no money, or maybe they came from total dysfunction and complete lack, that they all had a vision. And this is the truth, is that the universe only says yes. And if we don't have a vision, if we don't place the seed of manifestation into our soul and into the subjective mind that's one with universal law, we'll get mixed messages, right? I have people come all the time. They want to make more money, right? Dr. Aaron, how do I make more money? How do I do this, right? They're always asking things about becoming, somebody who has prosperity and abundance and vitality in their life. And I ask them, what they're up to and what they really want. And for most people, they don't even know what they want, because they haven't done that deep, deep soul work and that deep trauma transformation to birth their soul's purpose. So then they're looking out to the world for their vision. They're looking to, model somebody else. They're looking to do whatever it is to have a status out there in the world, when they haven't really birthed their vision. And Michael Bernard Beckwith, who's in our genre, New Thought, Ancient Wisdom, and teaching truth and teaching universal law, he teaches an incredible process of visioning. Basically, instead of it coming from your mini mind of creating your vision board, rather calling upon the divine mind, your higher self, for you to pull in your true vision so you can live that and hold that in your heart every single day in every way. And for Oprah, I know that she absolutely had a major vision, but it evolved over time. First, she just thought she wanted to be an anchor because she thought that was really cool and would be a good status. But as she did more and more of her deep, deep work, she actually realized that this was a perfect, amazing divine plan for her to be able to bring truth to the world. She realized the power of her mind and realized that if she didn't have an intention, that she never would be able to truly be able to serve. And when she realized this through Gary Zurkov, that she realized that everything is about intention, right? And she realized in that day, she sat down her team and she said, I'm not having the KKK on anymore. I'm not doing the battles of the drama on my show anymore. I'm going to set the intention of having a truly inspirational show to be able to bring truth to the world and help people serve them at whatever level, right? So one thing for sure, to have the mindset of a billionaire woman, is to master your craft. You've got to master your craft and become somebody who's able to really bring an expertise to the world. And for me, of course, that's deep, deep transformation, to go deep, deep, deep and help people clear their soul, and to be able to develop world-class master coaches and practitioners and spiritual leaders, right? I believe I'm one of the best in the industry to be able to train and teach people in that. And I'm really clear. So I never am afraid of financial, things or what's happening in the economy or whatever, because I know I can always innovate and create that for sure, right? Number two is having a vision. It's imperative. You've got to have a vision. If you don't have a vision, then life's going to happen to you and not for you, right? We've got to have a vision of what it is that we're up to. Okay. The third thing, I think, which is really, really imperative, and especially I know this so well right now, I'm going through the wall of fire for sure over these last couple of years, of being okay with people not liking you. And I would say this is one of the most difficult things in the world. We just watched part of the series of Teal Swan, and Teal Swan's documentary basically shines quite a dark light on her. And she says that it was really in the editing and the producer that took it and skewed all the content. And I do believe that. I believe that Teal Swan has a really pure heart, and maybe she does things out of ethics. She does things different than we do in some ways. So I'm not here to judge that or not judge that. But what I know for sure is that we have to be okay with people not liking us, that as we step into leadership, it's a numbers game also. Out of 100 people, there's going to be a 1%er that just doesn't like your work or wants to make you wrong. It's just part of life. It's human beingness, right? So we've got to be okay with people not liking us to truly step into that billionaire mindset, which means being able to create exponentially. Okay. And then number 4 is doing what you love. You can master a craft. We have a lot of people that come into our program that are traditional Western doctors or traditional therapists or lawyers or things like that, or even in corporate that are like, I don't like what I'm doing anymore. I did it because I thought it was what the culture thought would be good or get me to where I want to get, but it's not my deep, deep love. We do have people that just incorporate our spiritual practices into their brokerage or their real estate company or whatever. So it's not like you can't do what you already do, but sometimes it's just a shifting into whatever that is. So becoming a billionaire mindset really truly is mastering your craft, having a vision, being okay with people not liking you, and doing what you love. The rest is details, becoming somebody who's able to leverage and compound and do all the things that we do in money with investing and building your team and all that kind of stuff. These are unlimited things. But the core things, if you don't have these core things, then it doesn't matter if you make $1 billion, you're going to be broke inside. You can have all the trinkets, all the material wealth, all the money in the bank, but you will be broke financially, spiritually. Okay. You've got to master your craft. You've got to master your craft. You've got to have a vision. You've got to be okay with people not liking you, and you've got to do what you love to do. And so in this, I know today, this podcast comes out every Sunday. I don't know if you listen to this later in the week or down the line. Every podcast is designed to be able to listen and binge at any point in time. But this week, you guys, we have a universal law. And each week of the year, we together as a community are now going to be living, breathing, and living this principle. So this week's law is a universal law of mentalism. And this is in all my oracle cards, my spiritual awakening oracle cards. And we actually have a book that we are actually distributing to members that are in our community. I don't know if it'll go out to the world, but right now it's just for people in the community. Universal law of mentalism states, everything begins in mind. The universe is a mental universe. There is one mind that interconnects everyone and everything. The first cause of all creation is born of this divine mind, as within, so without. Each person has been endowed with the individual use of this one mind. The individual experience is the condensed use via limited beliefs and perceptions. The truth is that you have the infinite intelligence of the entire universe within. So it's time to awaken the oracle within, right? It's time for you to end judgment of others and yourself. The entire universe is connected through an omnipotent presence. The moment you perceive yourself separate, you experience feeling divided and powerless. At the energetic core, you unite with everyone and everything through the one mind. You are being asked to live in the mental state of gratitude. A creative medium surrounds you, receiving and directing and reflecting direct impress of your thoughts and acts accordingly to it. If you desire to experience your divinity, you must live in gratitude. And so this week, I invite you to journal and take divine action. Find a sacred space and take some time to write down all the things that you're grateful for. Think of all the lessons and blessings in your life. Take time to energize with gratitude until you are so overwhelmed with an inspired action. And so in this, I am just so grateful for Oprah Winfrey. Oprah, if you're listening, I love you. You touched my life every single day when I was growing up, every single day through my young years of being a mother, when I was so lost, even after I began meditating and had touched on divine and touched on these things. You were a real staple for me. And I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for you to be a leader and a mentor still to this day. For me truly being inspiring to master my craft. I think about you and doing your Oprah show for 25 years, as I did Good Morning La La Land for only a few years before the pandemic came along, every single day. And I just thought, wow, I can't imagine what it was like for this woman to truly do this work for that many years. And as I've been now doing 27 years of this spiritual deep dive work, I realize the blessings that come out of mastering my craft. I am so grateful for you being a leader for us in the vision for our lives. I'm so grateful for you to say, it's okay to say no. And for people to not like you. I can't imagine somebody not liking Oprah, but I get it. I understand as a leader that there are people that are going to find things wrong no matter what because they project their stuff onto you. And in this, I say yes to loving what I do every single day in every single way. And you also teaching me really about self-love and being able to know that taking care of ourselves and filling our own cup is imperative to have a billionaire mindset. And so I just say thank you, thank you, thank you, as together we say, and so it is. Yes, yes, yes. My soul family, my superstars, I say yes to you. So this week, a few things. We actually are going to be doing a Wednesday podcast breakthrough call. You're welcome to come on. We will be recording maybe the podcast for the first, like say 20, 30 minutes. And then we'll actually get into Q&A. I'll be able to answer questions. And then if people want to learn more about coming into our community or getting certified as a spiritual psychology master coach or spiritual practitioner in E4 trauma or rising into being a teacher, I'd love to answer those calls for you guys. We really just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. You can go to the website into soulciety.com, soulciete.com. You can also go to draronshow.com and binge all my podcast series. I'll link it in there as well. You can scroll through if you're on iTunes or Spotify or any of the distribution. And I just say yes to you. May you live your highest truth. I invite you to come into our community, come have spiritual community, come get supported, come get loved upon, come become the master, your best coach. Doesn't matter if you do it as a career or if you just want to become your own best coach. You've got to learn universal law. You've got to learn how you're manifesting. You've got to learn all this stuff to really embody this is your life, coming and helping, being the end to all of the dysfunction in your lineage so that you can be the difference that you want to see in the world. Okay. You can also go to New Thought Global, which will default to Soulciety now as well. draronshow.com, and across social media, it's Dr. Aaron, draaron.tv. Okay. Have a beautiful day and may you live your truth.